But here's where I screwed up. 20-year minor, safety, safety, safety. I just tore my boat apart and I did not isolate it.
Bad, bad, bad.
So let's make sure that these things can't start us up and kill us.
Yeah.
Brad, you can probably edit that in the beginning. Apparently a bunch of knuckleheads showed up to help, so we'll see what they want to do.
Knuckleheads.
So the first thing you want to do with this thing is you want to get this water line off. That's where the standard screwdriver comes in. Comes right off, no problems. And then you want to start getting after these header bolts. I would recommend taking your first header bolt and leaving it. That's information you'll need it later. And then get the rest of these off, which will probably take some time. This will be a lot more difficult if you're doing it on a car, because you're going to be hanging over a fender and there'll probably be a lot of crap in the way.
Better to do it naked. It's always better to do it naked.
Apparently we're going to do this naked. I don't know who's the first one's going to volunteer, but
not one of us.
yeah, we got the talking part done. I'd recommend you have some kind of a tray to keep track of this stuff. And for those of you that are wondering if you're actually going to get to hear this thing run, yes you will. I'm pretty hopeful we can find us a model to come out and run it or something. Instead of just a bunch of rednecks out here jerking on stuff and starting stuff up. I doubt she'll be in a swimming suit though. I could get a drill or an impact gun or some fancy tool to do this, but we're going to do this with simple hand tools that everybody should have.
Turn around again. Damn straight. Oh yeah. Oh, gotta get these knuckleheads in here.
The old Charlie's bar.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Apparently there's a party in the background that I'm not participating in because I'm hanging out with you guys. Easy way to make new friends. But trust me, when the camera's turned off, we're participating in the party in the background. You can see I'm kind of pushing and wiggling, trying to get that bolt to free a little bit freer. Then I know some of you guys are going to laugh at me because
that's my burrito. Get out of there. Get down. Get down.
So I know some of you guys are going to laugh at me. And this guy's going to tell us how to do those basic hand tools on a boat that most of us don't have. But this is what we got to work with, so this is what we're doing. So when I told you to leave them bolts loose because you'll need it later, this is why I told you that. Is because it's a lot easier to get these outside ones out that are comfortable to get at than to try to go trying to pull them out of the middle once the weight of this header gets on you.
Let it pivot off the other bolt.
Get those out. And there's the one that we're going to need later. And I'm sure Justin will get you a good look at that header gasket, which will show you why you want to have header bolts and everything and all the holes.
And boom, gone. Nothing left. Gasket. No gasket.
And all we're going to do is get this old gasket off. Like I said, you probably only need a putty knife. Come off pretty easily. Get rid of that old gasket. I want you guys to learn how to do this stuff with basic hand tools, nothing fancy. So I'm going to feel through here, make sure that this is all clean. There's some stuff I need to pay attention to right there. Get that rough stuff out of there. And then I go find myself a rag. So I did use a little bit of carburetor cleaner on this just to get that the surfaces good and clean.
All that carbon off there.
You know, you can use whatever you want as far as cleaning. Hell, if you really in a way, you can use soap and water. So this is what we're going to work with. You can buy it at your local auto parts store. We're going to do a 3/8 helicoil, which to do a 3/8 helicoil, you need a 25/64 drill bit. because we're gonna rip those threads out. We're gonna rethread it, and we're gonna run a helicoil into it.
Gonna need the bigger size.
So that's how this works. So you might have an electric drill, you might have a battery drill, but all the same, it's just a drill. So this is our bad hole. We're just gonna go in there and clean this out. Don't get ignorant with this. You let it do its work, and when it gets hard, stop. Because you don't want to drill a hole in your head. You just want to get them bad threads out. So we'll mark it with our thumb here and take a look, see how deep we are. And we got a lot of room. Let's see where we're at now.
Yeah, a bit more.
So, take a look at this header bolt. We'll slip her up in there and see what we got. So, yeah.
A 1/4 inch or so.
You got to bear in mind that that header flange is a lot thicker than that area. So I think we're good on our depth.
True.
Now we'll tap it. All right, so you guys, you buy this little kit right here.
Yeah, the Helicoil kit.
But obviously, a lot of you people don't have a tap and die set. So I'm gonna do this in a way where I don't need a tap and die set. We're gonna use some PB blaster, get some lubricant up in there.
Lube it up, clean it up.
I'm gonna put a little bit on here. So you can do this with a crescent wrench. You gotta be real patient, you gotta take your time. Doing what we can to get this thing to catch thread. You know, it's really important that you take your time doing this. Don't get in a hurry. We got to keep cutting threads now. But you want to take note that I got threads going, but I'm going to go ahead and back this out.
Pull all that residual material back out.
Get that metal back out of there.
You kind of see all the crap on the end of it there.
Yeah, you don't want that stuff getting up into that tap.
Clean the hole.
Get that metal out of there. This is going to take some time to do it right. But if you don't do it right, you might get lucky and she'll set the threads. But if you do it wrong and you get in a hurry, the opportunity to break a tap off is definitely there.
And increase your hole size.
Yeah. Then you get to figure out how to get a broken tap out of it, which is not a lot of fun. Like I said, this is going to take some time. And yeah, it would be cool if I could get my T-handle out here and just spin her in there and be all cool and stuff, but this is a video that we want you to be able to do this yourself. Like you can see, we're still mudding that thing up, getting all kinds of dirt and metal and crap in it, so that's why I keep telling you, you take your time. Trust me, you break that tap off, it's not going to be lovely. Because I don't have a lot of interest in making a video about how to remove a tap from a big block Chevy head. So we're going to continue to do this slowly and properly.
You ain't gonna drill it.
Nope.
Spiraling at the beginning. Yeah.
So if you're wondering how I know when to stop tapping and when I know to keep going, is it's feel. If it starts to get hard, bind it up, knock it off. Pretty simple stuff. You can feel that thing grinding in there, and you'll start feeling those little pieces of metal getting tangled up in your tap and stuff. And then you just back her out and do it again.
You can always take your bolt and run it up alongside of it too. See how far down you were.
Yes, that is a fact, which I was going to take a look at. So remember, we had about 1/8 of an inch on our bolt. So according to that, we still got a little ways to go. Well, back to cleaning and hey, carburetor cleaner. Huh. That's a good idea, actually. We'll just fire some of that up in there. Clean that crap out. But we got to make sure that we keep this tap lubed up. And yes, I'm using PB Blaster because, like I said, we're going to keep this video simple, where you guys don't have to have all kinds of unique stuff.
Common materials.
You know, earlier in the video I'd said, you know, it's such a waste of time to watch a video for so long and then some dude breaks out some $2,000 or $3,000 specialty tool and kind of puts an end to your program. Yeah, we're not going to use specialty tools.
No.
And I think I just hit the bottom, so I might have lied to you there, because that tap isn't moving.
Nope.
And this is a tapered tap, so there's probably going to be a little bit of space in there, but it's not a bottom tap. So we will compare this tap to the Helicoil and see if we got enough. So if you look at your tracks right here where it goes from dark to light, that's the depth I've been in there. My Helicoil is definitely shorter, so it looks like we got a winner on our hands.
That'll work.
So you got your Helicoil, and in your kit comes this fancy little tool. You notice that little nub on it right there? That's going to hook into this. So you want to thread that in there, and as you can see,
Bottoms out.
that little thing's hooked that tang. And now you're asking yourself, well, if I put a bolt in there, what's going to stop it when I take it off and pulling that Helicoil out? Well, Helicoil company recommends red thread locker. I would not recommend putting this on your nuts and bolts that you want to remove. Go with blue, just a little bit of it. So we're going to go ahead and open this up and fumble around with it a little bit. And so I got to go clip this real quick because it won't come out. So I'll be right back.
This is how you put stitches in a thumb.
This is how you put stitches in an idiot. So don't be afraid to put some of this stuff on there, because this is the only thing that's going to save you. Keep that in there. Now, if we've done our job right, this little unit ought to just thread right in that hole. Back to the crescent wrench we love so much. Alright, we're making some progress. So if you're running this thing in and it hangs up and you really got to get ignorant with it, you might want to back it out or try to get it out and run your tap back down in there some more. But I think we got a winner on our hands right now. So I'm going to set that. I'm not going to be ignorant with it. I'm just going to get a little bit snug and then give it up. And then this tool will come right back out. Ta-da. So let's take our header bolt and take a look and see what we got going on here. We are going to have to get another tool because our clearance is between the thickness of our header flange is going to be bigger than the clearance between the top of our header bolt and the bottom where it's sitting right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go after this little guy right here. We're going to have to break that off so that bolt can carry through it. And generally they recommend that you do that. I mean, it's got a little notch right here just
For clipping.
for breaking that off. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll pull our bolt back out. There's a few different ways you can do this. If you don't have anything, you could actually flip this thing over, slide it in there, and hit this end of it and break that tab off. But bear in mind, you're going to take that little nub away, so I don't recommend it.
Hey, I'll even let you borrow my knee pad. Yeah.
You might have a flat punch. You could run that in there and do it, which is what I'm going to use. And once again, it's not something you want to be ignorant with. You'll feel her let go. It just did it.
Yep.
You hear that odd little sound? Then you just back this guy out. Let's check and see what our bolt's going to do. It's soft and turning, so I will get a wrench. And once again, don't get ignorant with this, because if your guess is wrong, you're going to mess a bunch of stuff up.
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to try something different here, because that didn't take. We'll get that punch in there and rough it up a little bit more as soon as I figure out where I lost it. See where I threw that punch?
No, I didn't.
There's the wackadoo. Well, the bolt's still here. Let's try it.
I have no idea what you did with it.
Hopefully Brad will edit out the part where I just hit my thumb.
I'm sure.
I'm not totally sure that he will. Now, we still didn't get what we needed out of it. And I think I got that tab beat down up against that bottom of the hole.
And there it is, the wackadoo is back.
Yeah, found the punch. I think the problem there is that that punch is as big as the hole. So let me run over to the bench grinder and do some maintenance on this thing, and we'll come back and try again. Okay, so we got the mushroom knocked off of this thing. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people out there that'll tell you a different way to do this, but this is what we're doing. So I'll wrench on a little bit, move some. And I'm pretty confident that I have the thickness I need there to where I can put my header on.
Yep.
So here's where we're at. I'll just back this bolt back out. And for those of you that are seeing the red stuff down here and over here,
Blood everywhere.
yeah, that's red Loctite. Trying to teach you guys how to do stuff without bleeding, because that's the good Christian thing to do. Or all thing, or Mormon thing, or whatever your thing is. I agree with all of them. So let's put her back together. Try not to tear everything up here with this thing. You can see we got a lot of carbon on that, so we're gonna get a rag here and just clean that up. Not a lot of back pressure on this. It's an open header, so you just want to kind of feel around here, make sure there's not any low spots or high spots. And yeah, it's not spotless, but it is what it is. And then we got these gaskets here. These are header gaskets. The one thing about these gaskets that I recommend is if you see this little hook on the end, that's going to come into play later. I definitely recommend you get header gaskets like this. So let's hang a header. Once again, you want to start with the easiest ones you can get at, which is going to be your first one and your last one. There's like 4 people running around here, but we're going to do this one-manned. So get that started in there. That's it.
Let it hang.
Just let it hang. And you're going to go back here where we just did some really cool stuff. And once again, we're only going to put this in a few threads. That way that header can come back out and lay out a little bit. Then we're going to open these bad boys up with a typical header gasket container opening tool. It's your standard flathead screwdriver. A lot of people use knives, but we're doing this with the minimal amount of tools. Yeah, there's 2 header gaskets in here, so we're going to focus on one. We'll focus on playing with headers later if Brad wants to, because we are focusing on being rad at something.
NASCAR approved. Counts for water sports too.
Oh yeah, NASCAR right there, so we can go really fast. I don't know how fast we're going to go. It doesn't look like this thing's built for going too fast.
No, not at all.
No, this is just daily driver. All right, so when I talked to you earlier, I spoke to you about having these little hooks in it. A lot of these gaskets you can buy that will be enclosed. And then you're going to try to fight that gasket on there, holding the header, trying to line everything up. Well, we got these little open hooks, so we're going to take this header gasket, we're going to pull it right up here, and just slip it right in over those bolts that we left loose. The reason why we left those loose is because that bad boy is going to set right down in there.
And drop it right in where she needs to go.
Or did I do it? Unless, yeah, it should set down in there.
This one's too tight.
Back that up a little bit. Give ourselves some room to work. There might be something in there hanging that up. Well,
Is that the wrong?
let's try the other one.
Yeah. So probably should use the right side when we do this.
You know what? You're here to learn, and we're learning too. We're going to do this as a team. See what this one does. Oh, that's much nicer.
Just like that, fits right down in there.
So, kind of run these in a little bit. Once again, don't get them all the way tight, because you still got to line up some other bolt holes. We're already using our helicoil right here, and we'll start shoving bolts in. The reason why you don't want to get this tight is because you want to be able to kind of manipulate it and see how I'm wiggling it to get these bolts to go in for you. If you tighten everything up on the ends and the middle doesn't line up, you're going to have one heck of a fight. What these are 12 points, so I'm going to try to put those in a place where it's easy to get at with a wrench.
Same as we have regular bolts on this one, 12 points on those.
We're like going straight redneck over here, you know.
Yeah, using what we got.
There's a hole there somewhere. It's down here. I'll throw that one up there because that looks like it might be pretty easy to get at. If I was smart, I'd have put these on the end. But I wasn't paying attention at the time. Which kind of a learning thing, you know. You don't always do it right the first time, but you keep looking, keep thinking, keep working at it, you'll figure it out.
That's where you guys can learn from us.
You know, you took the time to get on YouTube, take a look, and see what's going on over here at our place. So, obviously you're mechanically inclined, or trying to be. So there we go, we got all our bolts in. So now we can go ahead and take them up tight as we can get them with our fingers. Because it's a whole hell of a lot easier to do it with your fingers than just do it with a wrench. And like I said, that's why you want to leave it loose so you can wiggle it around a little bit. Alright, I think it's time that we actually start using tools.
Yep.
So we're going to start at the middle, and we're going to work our way out. And you can do it however the hell you want. We're not real picky, but it's suggested you start in the middle and work your way out. Kind of by the manufacturer. Since I don't have millions of dollars into research and development, and they do, I guess I'll listen to them. Now, as this header starts coming into place, things are going to start getting really tight. That bolt's going to start bottoming out. My advice to you at this point is don't be ignorant on tightening that, or you'll be helicoiling some more bolts. That's actually why we're helicoiling bolts, is because I got ignorant. You know, and while we're doing this, those guys that are friends of Brad, like to be rad at something, definitely give him a comment. And if you have some advice you want to share, put that in the comments. You know, we're all here trying to help each other out, and if you guys know an easier trick, by all means, share it. We managed to get away with doing this without taking spark plug wires off, pulling spark plugs out, and all that good stuff. If you're going to do this in an automotive application, chances are pretty good you're going to do all of the above. I think this is probably the part where Brad's going to do some fast forward and put some cool sounds in here to make it sound like we're doing some kind of an industrial job. You know, I really wish Brad wasn't at work. I wish he was here doing this work and I could just film it. But he ain't here, so. Dealing with headers, they are naturally going to come unloose. There's not a lot you can do about it. You can buy a lot of kits and fancy stuffs, but generally they're going to come loose anyways. So if you got headers in your life, you might as well get used to operating a wrench on them.
Yeah, and half the time it always seems like we're doing it out on the water.
Yeah, this is fun on the water.
Especially when the pipes are hot.
I guess I should have put that in when it was easy, when that header was loose. Hopefully Brad doesn't edit this out, because it just kind of shows you that no matter what you think you know, sometimes you do something to put yourself in a bind. But a little persistency, it'll pay off. You'll get it. And I'm still working on the inside to out on these headers, because we want that gasket to seat properly. That last one down there on the corner, the last one I'm going to do, that's the one that's going to matter, because that's going to see if we found some kind of success in this mess. And I said it once before, and I say it again. Do not get ignorant, tighten these things down. All you're going to do is rip the threads out of them. A lot of guys use some blue thread locker to help them. They'll stay a little bit longer that way. But then when you got to re-thread locker them, some of them don't want to come out. So we'll just do what we're doing. All right, last but not least, this is the one that matters. I'm gonna double check this one just because, yeah, that one's good. And there she is, our last one. This is the one we put the fix on. Let's see if we're successful. you like that?
It looks like she's working.
Looks like we
Like
got a
a
winner on our
dandy.
hands. And that's how you helicoil a header bolt thing. Broken stuff.
Right
See if
on.
we can get somebody to start this.
Resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus.
So there she is. That's our supermodel Ashley.
Well,
And that's it.
so what kind of motor's in it?
That's a Hard Marine 454.
Rollers?
Yes. 4-roller, tunnel ram, 2-quarter 600. She's fast.
We got 850 double pumpers for it.
Yeah, they're coming.
She's about to be faster. But
And we'll do a video on that one too, on the rebuilds and the install.
thank you guys for your time. Hope you had a good one. Hope it
And
helps.
You know what? You got to do anything? Be right at something.